keep this thing going. So we made our roster cuts yesterday, obviously, and there were a couple surprises on there. Some guys I expected to see, and some guys I didn't expect to see. One of them that I didn't see on the roster that kind of just made me shake my head was I texted you about it. Christian Hayes not making the team.
Well, evidently he is on the injured with designation to return list. So we'll see if he's truly not on the team once he's healthy. But
I,
they
I
could
just
just do
wasn't
the
basing that
thing.
off of the Instagram post that the Seahawks made.
Right. Yeah, he's not on the 53-man roster, but he wasn't released is or waived is what I'm trying to
Hmm.
say. But I don't know what's going to happen when he's healthy again. They might if they want to keep him and just not have him play this season, they could just put him on IR or something. So the
Hmm.
story might not be over, but you have to think if he was going to play any role this season, then he would have just straight up made the roster. So
That's kind of my angle is like, okay, yeah, he might not be waived, but like the fact that he's not there,
yeah.
whether it be health or a talent issue, it's not good.
Hmm.
So that's a little
Yeah,
bit of a
and
bummer,
another
but
guy, I was a little surprised it didn't make it. However, he is on the practice squad. That's what's nice about us waiting to do this podcast is we don't have to like have these questions of who's gonna stick around, who's not.
hmm.
Satoa Lomea, I thought just because he played quite a bit of football for us last season that he would make the roster, but he did not.
Hmm.
And then Mike Jarrell. So interestingly enough, Mike Jarrell started for us against the Falcons last season
Hmm.
and played really well. Best football he played that year. And the Falcons were evidently pretty impressed by that performance because they traded a seventh rounder for him. He was a compensatory seventh round pick, I believe. So like one of the last picks in the draft. So
Hmm.
um if he's not going to be someone that's part of the future here, pretty good move, I think, to get something for him. Granted, it's in 2 years, it's a seventh round pick, so that it's probably something we will forget about in about a year,
Well, you know what's
if
funny
not
about that
sooner.
is I feel like we got a bunch of shit for signing Sam Darnold because he played well against us. Like,
It happens, like
and
that's
then
a
now
pretty
the
common
Falcons,
thing.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Falcons are taking Mike Jarrell off our hands, the guy from what was it like Finland or whatever
It
the
was
fuck.
Finlay. Yeah,
Or
good
yeah.
memory. Because I was about to be like, I don't remember. Another interesting thing, Nick Collerup making it as tight end. I kind of didn't even know he was on the team, but I guess he did a really good job blocking in the offseason. So he could be another candidate to get waived and added to the practice squad at some point. You got to think some of these guys aren't actually going to be on the roster coming game day. I mean, for example, we already have a move. Shaquille Griffin made the 53-man roster yesterday. Today, released because there was someone on the Rams we wanted to pick up. Not
That's
sh-
got to be brutal to be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, sweet, I made the team." And then the next day you're like, "Actually, never mind. That was just a joke."
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Let me
that's the
get this
first
player.
headline I'm
So
seeing on.
Darion Kendrick from the Los Angeles Rams getting claimed by us. So I believe he's on the active roster in place of Shaq Griffin. I thought Shaq was a nice depth piece. He is older, and I like really didn't see him do anything in the offseason. So I'm not surprised that they found a guy in the league that they like, maybe a little more, that's cheaper, maybe has more upside. So we'll watch Darion Kendrick's career with great interest.
Yeah, I'm also seeing that Valdez Scantling did sign with the Niners today.
He did, yeah. I guess we tried to trade him and couldn't get anything, which is surprising to me because I mean, like the guy Vele on the Broncos gets like a fourth round pick sent to the Broncos for from the Saints. I just thought that was kind of wild because it's not like Vele is a young player. He's like 28 or something. He's barely younger than Scantling. So
Yeah.
a little bummed we couldn't get anything for MVS, but
D
I don't
I
know.
heard something about don't they take on more of his contract now though?
The 49ers.
Yeah.
I think what happens is like we at the end of the day, like we give them 1.5 million, and that's it, as opposed to four. So yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, like I know it's $1 million, but in football world, that's kind of small potatoes.
Yeah.
Our practice squad. I guess was there any other like real shocker move to you? I thought it was pretty predictable for the most part. Beyond those guys I mentioned.
Yeah, I need to find a full list of our
I thought Peely might have made the team. And so far, okay, he's on the practice squad, Brendan Peely.
yeah.
He's the one who got the safety against the Chiefs. So I was like, dang. Other guys that have been here for a while and made some moves in game are Jarek Reed, Jamie Sheriff, Pat O'Connell. A lot of guys had him making the 53, J.R. Singleton, and
Mm-hmm.
then some new players in Ricky White and Tyrone Broden. And then obviously our seventh round draft pick, Damian Martinez, lands on the practice squad. And
Just kind of
Arcadia Wright, who had the speedy run against the Packers. One of the only highlights of that game, by the way. I mean, we didn't even start with that game because there's not a whole lot to say about that Packers preseason game, to be honest.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed, I guess, just for the sake of like because we drafted him a couple years ago, Tyreek Smith being
Hmm.
waived. That was a little bit of a bummer, I guess. Not seeing him pan out.
Yeah,
Um,
man, did we get him in like 2022? I want to say that it's been a minute.
I think we got him the year that we got Witherspoon and JSN.
Let me see. You might be right. I'm just gonna pull him up real quick. He also just kind of never really found a home. Yeah, you're right. So 2023 was his rookie season. So that's the season with Smith and Jigba and Witherspoon. Not on the practice squad right now. However, he's already had other runs with other teams before
Mm-hmm.
he came back this year. So um, that obviously bodes really well for a guy that I had my eye on when we got him as a UDFA, but I talked about him in our last podcast, Jared Ivey, making the 53-man roster, and I think he's gonna stick because he didn't make any like splash plays that kind of lit up the screen. But if you watch tape of him on the preseason, he just no one could block him the whole time. Like no matter who he was against, they could not get a hand on him. So the fact that someone with obvious talent like that is going to be like our fifth string edge, I think it shows that position group is pretty deep. And a month or so ago, I said Brady Henderson put out that mock 53-man roster that had an unnamed edge yet to be added to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Still curious what was going on with that. There's been a lot of smoke about a potential move at that group this offseason, and it's yet to happen.
I'm
So,
pretty glad we didn't sign or we didn't go after Trey Hendrickson. I feel like his numbers are like inflated because he's the only guy doing anything on a terrible team. That's
well, and
always
not only that, I thought Trey Hendrickson was like, I don't know, like 27. I didn't realize he was already over 30 and that he was immediately going to want a new deal. I feel like whenever we've made a move like that, see Jamal Adams, see like, I don't know, Jimmy Graham, like it hasn't really worked out all that well. I feel like
yeah.
you're taking a big risk doing a trade and sign move like that.
He was also a player that like did nothing for like his first 4 years of his career.
That's true.
So I don't know. I just don't really buy the fact that he's gonna come in and I mean he's not going to. The Bengals already re-signed him, but like I'm
Yeah.
just glad we didn't do that move because that would have been kind of not the 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 formula we seem to want to follow in
Mhm.
bringing someone else in and paying them all that money.
One thing I'm weirdly kind of excited about is the fact that between our tight ends and fullbacks, we have six big monstrous humans to throw out there in the run blocking game. Obviously, Arroyo is kind of the shiftier, speedy, not gonna knock you on your butt blocking kind of guy. But I mean, that's gonna be a dynamic part of the offense as well. But yeah, Oots and Brady Russell made the 53-man
Brady
roster.
Muscle.
That's, I mean, hey, if no one's called him that yet, they should. I'll copyright that nickname now. But I think it just shows the commitment to the power game and, this wide zone scheme we're trying to implement. And I mean, we've talked about it before. I feel like to have a good rushing offense, you need to commit to it, and that's something that we haven't really done in years past, especially not last year. So we'll see how it works out. But at the very least, we're seeing before the season even starts that they're going to, go for that thing that way.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. And I'm curious to see like with like all the like Jarcadia Wright and Damian Martinez if we do run the ball and like we do have health issues at that position. I'd be interesting to see if those guys can come in and fill a role because I know they didn't really do that much. Well, Damian Martinez didn't do that much,
Mm-hmm.
but he was still a good player in college. So I'm
Yeah,
glad we
I
got
mean,
him in our squad.
he looked awesome. I believe he was at Miami, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I his highlight reel looked like beast mode esque at Miami. So I still think he's got talent. I will say Halani looked quite a bit better, and he made the 53 as our third stringer. So that makes the blow of Kenny McIntosh a little more tolerable.
Hmm.
And then Jarcadia Wright, I guess, hit like 21 miles per hour on that run in Green Bay. So he's got real speed. So I don't think we're gonna run into that situation in years past we have where we're signing, 35-year-old Marshawn Lynch off the street and
Hmm.
doing all this crazy stuff because all our running backs are dead. That better not happen this year, but I like our chances to get someone with some skill out there. Um, yeah, I guess the only other note I really have is in the receiver room. Obviously, the release of MVS that we kind of saw coming a few weeks ago, but Cody White and Derek Young both making the roster. I don't think we really talked too much about them this offseason, did we?
No, in fact, I kind of just wrote Derek Young off personally, just because I
Hmm.
hadn't really seen him and he always just seemed like a special teams only receiver. And it
But he
just seemed
looked
like,
good in preseason. Like I feel like he looked like a real receiver in the games that he played. This
yeah, well,
this this preseason final, like he's finally stepping up.
yeah, and we've never seen him do that ever in
We
seasons
did
past.
we did see how absolutely built he is like three
We
years
did
ago.
when we
So
went to training camp.
yeah, that's why I've always been like, there might be something with Derek Young because that human being looks different than these other sculpted freak athletes out here. Like
Exactly.
he is absolutely jacked. And Cody White, his legacy game against the Rams last year, it didn't come to fruition with the win, but I remember he kind of went off when Tyler Lockett or somebody got hurt in that game. Maybe it was JSN. Can't remember. But Cody White had like 80 yards against the Rams starters in that game. So he's been, God, how long? Cody White has kind of been our like seventh receiver for years now. But this is the first time he's made the active roster on game day. Let's see. Yeah, he's 20,
Yeah, he has been on our
27
team for a
almost.
while. I'm gonna be honest, I was like, okay, who the fuck is Cody White? And now that I'm looking at a picture of him, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Okay, I exaggerate a little bit. He had 44 yards against the Rams, but they were impressive yards. And yeah, he's been in the league since 2021, been on our team for I think since 2023. So, yeah, good for him to finally make the active roster. We'll see how long that sticks, but it looks like our starting offensive line is left to right. Charles Cross, Gray Zabel, little bit of a surprise. Jalen Sundell, I believe, has won the center job, and then
Hmm.
Anthony Bradford and Abraham Lucas. So it's kind of interesting. I was always a believer in Oluwatimi, but Sundell played with Zabel at North Dakota State, and they have that chemistry.
Hmm.
And I think a guard center connection, like those guys being in sync with each other, is a really big deal for the offensive line success. So I think that kind of led to Sundell's improved play this offseason. And yeah, he's going to be starting for us week 1.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know any of that until you just said that about them being teammates because I really liked what I've seen from Olu. So hearing the latter half of what you said makes me feel a little bit better about him not winning the starting job. And I thought he just got surgery to repair something.
He hurt his shoulder or something like that. And I think that's what really kind of lost him the job is they had to start playing Sundell, and he just dominated in that game against the Chiefs at home.
Hmm.
Lots of people who are O line guys were like, you have to start Sundell, seeing what they're seeing. But the thing is, I still think Oluwatimi's good, and centers go down all the time for a game or two. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does start for us at some point in the season, whether it be performance or injury. I think we have two guys that can start in this league at that position. So we might have the start of an actual offensive line here, Jonah. It's been a long time, and I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but I feel like we have one of the younger lines in the league. All of these players on our team have been drafted within the last 3 drafts. I guess four, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so the last 4 drafts, but the last 3 years. So they're in their early 20s. You have some guys getting to that fourth year where they're becoming a veteran, some rookies, some in the middle, and they haven't put it all together yet. But if you have a group like this as a nucleus grow together, I think it could be something. So
Yeah,
we
let's
will
hope that
see.
they don't devastate us in week one and give up two safeties.
I feel like I blocked the fact that that happened out of my memory. And I will say Laken Tomlinson had a horrific game against the Broncos that year. I remember him just getting like just grabbing at air trying to block on one play and Gino getting killed.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Should we wait to give our predictions for the game for like
Yeah,
next week?
we got a couple weeks. Let's hold off on that. I guess is there anything you really want to talk about from the preseason game? All I really wanted to say is Milrow got beat up both in the game and online. People were not happy with the 3 fumbles, and I think yeah, you can't fumble 3 times. That's definitely something he's got to
That's
work on.
Justin Fields' work. All right.
Yeah, and it's a concern that I heard some people have about him because his hands are on the smaller side, and when you have smaller hands, you don't have as much grip on the ball. But I think that's very teachable. I mean, Joe Burrow doesn't fumble all the time. He has like the same size hands as Milrow. So it's not like he went out there and just stared down his first read and threw picks left and right. I've actually been really impressed by his willingness to go through his progressions and hit like his third option. He did it a couple times. He had a couple really nice throws. I feel like what you're seeing with Milrow is, yeah, the guy's a rookie. He's not Russell Wilson coming in at 24 years old with like a Hall of Fame trajectory. That doesn't happen 99% of the time. But you see the talent, you see that he's already improved from when he got here, and he's gonna take years to be something if it ever does happen. But the thing that's cool is Mike McDonald said they plan on using him a couple plays a game in packages. And I think just that speed he brings to the quarterback position, like the only guys that have that are like the Lamars and the Kyler Murrays of the league, and they've shown when you have that as a factor, it's really hard to stop. So it's cool that he doesn't have to go out there and start immediately and just fail and be out of the league in a couple of years. Like we can use what he's good at now and let him sit behind Sam for years, however long it takes, or indefinitely. I think it's just a really cool thing to have.
I know if we were the Jets, we would like have to start Milrow and then he would just have the worst season you could imagine and then be out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like remember Malik Willis? We just played against him.
Hmm.
Um, I think that they have a lot of similarities. I think Milrow is faster and a little more talented, but like, similar type of players, really fast, good arm, but a lot of work coming into the league.
Right.
When Malik Willis had to start for the Titans his rookie year. He looked like the worst quarterback ever. Like he looked so bad, like so insanely bad. And at that point, they were like, all right, this guy's cooked. But a couple of years later and some time to develop with the Packers, he's looked like a competent quarterback now. Like, I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar, but you could see him one day get a job, get a chance somewhere because it just takes time, you know? Like it's very rare for rookies to come in and play really well unless they've started at a like, you know, complicated top tier program for years in college. That's usually what you see.
Really makes me wonder if Pete Carroll can turn Kenny Pickett into a competent player.
I just saw the news that Pickett is going to the Raiders and I already forgot about
As you should.
it.
I don't really have much else. I just wanted to go over the cuts. Um,
Yeah, there's not a whole lot else to talk about other than the 49ers just keep getting injured and you don't like to see people get injured, but you love to see the 49ers do bad. So, I feel like this team's healthy. We don't have any controversies, we don't have any hold-ins, we don't have any drama. We have no noise outside the Pacific Northwest bubble, so no one's talking about us. No one thinks we're going to be good. They're saying, "Oh, you're going to be 7-10, last in the division." I think we're going to surprise some people this year. I feel, I try to be as non-homered and honest as I can be about this team, but I really feel like people aren't looking at the brass tacks when it comes to the reality of our schedule, the fact that we won 10 games last season, and the fact that our defense was top 10 at the end of last year, and we have one of the best defensive minds in the league, and Mike McDonald is our coach, picking the guys he wants.
yeah, and I keep seeing the Patriots getting ranked in the top 10 as far as defenses are concerned. We have a way better defense than them.
Yeah, yeah, we have talent at every level of the front seven and, back end. I I don't get it, man. Like I know the East Coast bias is a real thing, but I just feel like people's brains are turning into mush evaluating this team. Even people that I like respect, they're just like, "Oh, I don't know, like I don't see it." And I don't know, maybe they'll be right and we'll be sad, but I don't. I mean, we play the AFC South and the NFC South this year, as you alluded to the other day when we were talking. That is who you would want to play to go on a run.
Yeah, those are the two worst of it. Like, that's the worst division from each conference.
hmm I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but last time we won the Super Bowl, we played both those divisions that season. And that's not a coincidence. These are garbage can franchises for the most part in those divisions. When we went to the Super Bowl in '05, guess who we played? AFC South. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think we're a Super Bowl team this year, but the point is we've done very well whenever we've had that run of teams to play against.
Hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, that's about all I got.
Any Mariners
Um,
updates?
they did win today, so let's see where they're at in the standings. Yeah, they beat the Padres, so now they are 72 and 62.
Very
Or
nice.
wait, is that accurate to the, yeah. And then the Astros lost yesterday, and I think they don't play today. Oh, no. Oh, they play the Rockies, so they're gonna
That
win.
sucks. It'd be great if the Rockies somehow pulled it together for that, though.
It'd be so funny if they got swept by the Rockies.
And then we take the division lead.
That would be a miracle. All right. Well, and just like I said, we've won. We're 4-2 since going 2-7. So things are back
Back
on
on
track.
track. Yeah. It all ebbs and flows.
Yep. All right.
Alrighty.
Well.
Well, this is our last podcast before we have a real NFL game preview on the docket, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Yeah. No. Next Thursday. Not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, shit. That's awesome. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I feel like this off season has been like a year. It always feels like that though.
All right.
But anyways, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yep.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you for. No, I keep saying Chiefs. I keep thinking the Chiefs are playing. It's Cowboys, Eagles.
Well, it's weird because the Chiefs have a Friday game for some reason because they're like, oh, we have to put the fucking Chiefs in prime time for even though they didn't win the Super Bowl. God. They're just like, oh, we'll invent Friday night football for the Chiefs. It's such horseshit.